Julian is in a much stronger position in relation to this extradition. And you also have the Biden administration, who, as Michael said, Biden himself said, we're considering it when he was asked about dropping Julian's case. Dropping it, you know? And of course, dropping the case is what the Biden administration should have done from day one. And in fact, one of the outgoing prosecutors at the end of the Trump administration, he was working on the case, and then he went into private practice, and he did like an exit interview as he was leaving the Department of Justice. And he said, you know, new administration, they might look at this case and they might take a completely different position. He said this in a public interview. And that's like signaling. And of course, Biden should have, from day one, because this was a Trump administration prosecution. Yeah. This indictment is from 2018. And it came as, if you read Mike Pompeo's book, by the way, because he was trying to become president and then no one likes him, but they are afraid of him. And no one bought the book. But anyway, if you read that book, he takes credit for Julian's imprisonment. And he says that he was pushing for it. He was pushing to bring down Julian, and there was even public statements and so on, whole speeches about how he was going to bring down Julian when he was the head of the CIA. And as I said, actually, he had plans to even murder him. Okay, so this indictment that is 5 years into the extradition process in the UK, and which Foreign Minister Baerbock can't bring herself to say anything about. This is the product of, it's a child of the worst aspects of the Trump administration. It's the most dangerous and lasting legacy of the Trump administration. And Biden has kept it going. The Biden administration has kept it going through almost its entire first term. Like, if they're considering dropping it, it's like, this is well past the time when you should have started considering dropping it. They should have dropped it years and years ago. They've had everyone telling them, it's, you know, from the Washington Post to the New York Times, to the Committee to Protect Journalists, to Reporters Without Borders, and Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, you name it, the United Nations. I mean, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, the previous one, Niels Meltzer, he wrote a book, which, if you haven't read it, it's really important to understand the years of persecution that led to this point, and the collusion between the states involved.